Mic check, 1, 2, test, 1, 2. Let's hope that everything is working. Alright, test. Okay, there aren't any viewers yet. So if there's anyone here yet, can you hear me? I hope so. No data. Alright. So let's start the live stream. I know there are 2 people are already online. So hello everyone. I'm testing out this new streaming setup actually now with 2 cameras. Let's hope that this works. And yeah, welcome to this Q&A live stream. I have been working this week all the time, so I wasn't able to shoot a video. So I thought let's do a live stream, a Q&A live stream. I posted on Instagram and here on YouTube to ask me a couple of questions beforehand. So while people are starting to come into the live stream, I can start answering a couple of those questions first. But if you are now watching live, feel free to post questions into the chat and I will show the chat once some people are online. So I hope all of you are safe and healthy during these strange times. We are still in lockdown here in Germany, so you have noticed that there haven't been any proper reviews on the channel, but I try to do all of these quick looks and first impressions videos, and I hope you still like all of these videos. So without further ado, let's do the Q&A, and let me see if this works switching to my desktop. So the first question, and I'm not going to tell all the names because I fear that I will butcher the names, so I will just read the questions. It might be fun, interesting if you have a section of normal brands such as Herschel. I think that is a very valid request that I have seen in the past in the comments section, but I personally don't want to review those bags like North Face, Herschel, or these other normal brands that you can find in store. The reason being is not that I don't like those bags or not that those aren't interesting, but I feel like because these are normal bags that you can get in the store, and obviously once the lockdown is lifted, you can go to the store, check out those bags by yourself and make your own opinion about those bags. Or even if during the lockdown, it's easy to just order those bags and check them out for yourself. That is why I like to concentrate on brands that are only like available on Kickstarter, or maybe those brands that you only get in the US, for instance, like Air, Black Amber, Gorak. So those bags aren't really easy to order if you are in Asia or in Europe. So I like to concentrate on those specific brands. So for you as a viewer, it's easier to evaluate those brands before expensively ordering those items internationally. That is why I like to concentrate on those not as easily available items. So the next question is, what do you think about hard graft bags? Okay, that question catches me a little bit off guard because I have not really informed myself about hard graft bags. This is definitely something I need to Google. I heard about them, and if I remember correctly, I have seen those bags on Instagram, but yeah, I need to Google them first before I can actually answer that question. My height is 170 centimeters, so just like me, and how much liter bag I need. So that's actually a pretty difficult question to answer because it's not only about your height, but also about what you would like to pack. So if you want to pack a lot of work items, like maybe a laptop, like I do, also a keyboard, or maybe a photo camera, or you're going to the university and you have like a lot of binders, books and stuff like that, then the capacity of that bag can vary immensely, and it doesn't really matter how tall you are. From a visual perspective, I would say if you're 170 centimeters tall and you're looking for a bag, or your question is which size look, let's say, appropriate to your size. For me personally, the sweet spot is about 20 liters of capacity, but that depends obviously on what you want to carry. Maybe you carry less, then your sweet spot might be 16 liters, or you carry even more, then I would say 25 liters. But it really depends on what you want to pack. So the next question is, favorite tech pouch and why? Or what's one pouch that you can't live without? So maybe you can see it here. This is the Peak Design Tech Pouch, and it's a great pouch. It's very organized and you can fit a lot of stuff into that pouch. But as you can see, I'm hanging this onto my organizer wall because it's so big that I rarely really use it in my backpack. It just occupies so much space in your backpack that I rarely use it actually when I'm going to work. So at the moment I really like the pouch from Remote Equipment. It's like this very long pouch, but it has only a couple of organizing slots and it's very flexible, i.e. it doesn't have that much padding. So your items aren't that protected inside that pouch. However, you can fit a lot of stuff into it, and because it's not that immensely padded, it doesn't occupy that much space in your backpack, and because all of the fabric is flexible, it molds better to the items inside, and inside your and the whole pouch molds better to the capacity of your backpack. So at the moment I really like the Remote Equipment organizer pouches. However, I'm not really sure if you can get them by themselves, but I believe so. Those are really cool. They're made out of X-Pack, and yeah, I can highly recommend them. So, and the next question is, how to get started in color grading? So that's a really difficult question, because for me it's also has been a lot with try and error. For those of you who don't know, color grading is basically the process of giving a video or a picture a specific look. So first you do color correction, so you basically correct the colors of, or the white balance of your image. So maybe it's a little bit too yellow or it's a little bit too blue. So you correct the white balance to have a correct representation of white surfaces. So the white is actually white. For instance, what you see now is all of my white balance is a little bit more on the warmer side, and this is actually because I forgot to properly set my white balance before starting this live stream. But well, it gives the whole image a little bit of a warmer look. And the process of color grading is basically giving that image, once it's color corrected, a certain look. And for me, in the beginning, it was a lot of try and error and just experimenting a little bit. But at the moment, probably the easiest way to get into color grading is buying yourself a LUT, which is a lookup table. And that's for a simplification, it's basically just a filter that you apply to an image. So that gives you a good starting point of what you might want to have your picture look like. But yeah, for me it was all about, yeah, lots of try and error. And I think the best tip that I can give you is, once you dialed in the look of your color grade, dial it back maybe 10%, because usually when you are experimenting with color grading, you tend to go a little bit overboard with your grade. So it's always good to dial it a little bit back, because yeah, once you look like 1 hour at a picture and you grade and you try and experiment, you usually get used to the look and you don't really notice that you went a little bit overboard. So I would say dial it a little bit back once you are finished with your look, and yeah, just try out whatever is working for you. So, and the next question is, this is in German, and let me translate real quick. Will you dig deeper or review any bike bags? Yes, as a motorcycle rider, I usually like to take a look at bike-specific backpacks, because when you're on a motorcycle, you have a lot of protective gear on yourself. So it is really important that the bag or the harness system of the bag works well with all of those protective armor inside, and there is not much straps dangling in the wind, and everything is very tightly on that backpack. And if a bag works well on a motorcycle, it usually also works well on a bicycle. And I have reviewed a couple of motorcycle or bicycle related bags in the past. Life Behind Bars Peloton is definitely a bag I can highly recommend. There's another Life Behind Bars backpack that you can find on my channel. Those are bicycle related backpacks. They are from Indonesia. And then I also reviewed the Velomachi. That is more of a motorcycle bag, but it will work great on a bicycle as well. Krieger is also great, but that's more of a motorcycle related bag. Black Amber, waterproof roll top bag, also great on a bicycle or on a motorcycle. But once the weather is getting better and motorcycle riding season is starting again, I will definitely take a look at bike related backpacks. So, next question. Have you ever thought about being a full-time YouTuber / influencer? So that is a really good question. I have thought about if I would go full-time into being a YouTuber and be able to create more videos, I know that the channel would flourish and grow much faster, because the algorithm is all about consistency, regular uploads, and the more views you get into onto your channel, the more it will recommend all your videos to other viewers. However, YouTube is such a gamble. I feel like it's all dependent on your algorithm, on what's going on, and I feel like even now, seeing what you potentially could earn with YouTube just with the monetization is definitely far from being enough to pay rent. At the moment, the YouTube channel and the Patreon, which, by the way, thank you to all the Patreons for supporting this channel. All of that money goes directly into all of these production costs like Epidemic Music, the website, and stuff like that. So there's Adobe, the Adobe monthly subscription to edit all of the videos for Photoshop. All of that is covered by whatever I can get out of the monetization and the Patreon. So if I would just heavily rely on YouTube, I would never be able to pay rent. Obviously, there is the potential to do sponsorships and stuff like that. But my philosophy has always been not to include any sponsorships on this channel, to keep the videos as unbiased as possible. That is why I created the Patreon. And yeah, if I would do sponsorships, the potential to make a sustainable living out of YouTube would be higher. But I don't really feel, for me at least, that's the right way. And for now, I really love my job as a film editor, and that pays my rent. And yeah, this YouTube channel is basically my passion project where I can do all of my own creative stuff. So yeah, I probably never will go full YouTuber, but it is an interesting thought. So next question. Hey Bo, who is the one YouTube channel you would like to collaborate on a video? One of the creators that I really enjoy watching is MKBHD. He's a tech YouTuber, and I believe like the biggest tech YouTuber. And I really enjoy his content. He puts a lot of emphasis on making these high quality videos, and he is a cool person and does a lot of cool videos, has a great podcast. I would love to collaborate with him. And who else? Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon, Potato Jet. Those are all these, Peter McKinnon, Potato Jet are these camera YouTubers, and Casey Neistat, he isn't active anymore as far as blogger. I really would like to collaborate with other niches of YouTube, just to, it's not that, I collaborated with Packhacker, and I love collaborating with people inside the bag and travel niche. And I also talk to a lot of backpack reviewers in my Patreon only podcast. But I feel like if I would do a video collaboration, I would really love to see how other niches of YouTube work. And especially MKBHD, he has so many cool video styles and filmic stuff, and also Peter McKinnon. I feel like if I collaborate with a different niche, then that would lead to a much different video that I would usually do. So that would be very interesting, just to see how other niches actually work and create their videos. As a film editor, being in the advertising world, I have seen a lot of different work styles, but yeah, just seeing other YouTubers work in other branches of YouTube would be very interesting. So next question. So this is a question from 3 people, and I grouped them together. When travel restrictions are lifted, where do you want to go? Where is the first place you are looking forward to traveling to when COVID restrictions let you? And do you miss Indonesia? And I think the last question pretty much sums up my answer. I really miss Indonesia. If you don't know, my parents are from Indonesia. I was born and raised in Germany, but when I was a kid, I visited Indonesia so many times, and it has been quite a while since the last time I have been in Indonesia. The last time was for my documentary about how bags are being made, and that was when I have been in Indonesia the last time. And I really would love to go to Indonesia, visit my dad, whenever COVID restrictions are off the table and I finally get a vaccine, which probably will still take a couple of months until I'm due for a vaccine. So yeah, that would be great. And also, I definitely would love to, we talked about that in our Discord meetups on my Patreon, that we should do a meetup in the US and all meet up there. I also have been living in the US for a high school year, so I miss the US also quite a lot. I would love to visit once all of this COVID stuff is done. So the next question is, what is the best cheap piece of equipment gear you have ever bought? The cheapest and the best. Is it either the best or the cheapest, or is it supposed to be best and cheap? Let's do best and cheap is difficult because I believe in buy once, cry once. So buying the best, or invest in the best possible gear, so you don't have to what's the saying? So when you buy cheap equipment and it breaks after a while, and then you go out and buy the more expensive piece of gear that you should have bought in the first place, because that one will hold up much longer. So that's this buy once, cry once sentence. Wow, that's a really good question. I don't know, actually. There's so many good pieces of equipment. Maybe if I can think of this Samsung T5 SSDs. These are incredible. They work on my camera, the Blackmagic. I edit off of these hard drives. They are a little bit more on the pricey side, but they are so fast and so small. They're tiny. They're easy to travel with, and they're very sturdy. So yeah, I can highly recommend these hard drives. What else? Don't know. Yeah, that's probably... Oh, maybe my Logitech MX Master, also a great piece of equipment. I work with that every day on my keyboard. These are great, but that's... I purchased so much gear. I don't know. I work, and I really believe in buying, because I have to work with all of the gear. I believe in buying the proper equipment instead of going for the cheaper one, because I heavily rely on that equipment. So yeah, that's probably not a very good and sufficient answer, but I hope it answered it a little bit. So next question. The second part is, what's the worst and most expensive piece of equipment you have ever bought? So a two-part question actually that I didn't see. The worst. Yeah, probably something cheap then. What would be something? I'm looking around my space to see what potentially could have been something worse. Sorry, mate. I don't really have an answer for that. If I can think of something, I will go back to this question. So, next question. What do you do with all the bags, and where have you traveled to over the years? So, all of the bags that I review are actually... it's mirrored there. There's a small little room in the back at the attic where I store all of my bags and a lot of boxes. There's actually a video on this channel with where I store all of the bags, and they're all in the back. Obviously, some have commented, hey, why don't you sell them? The main reason is actually international shipping and custom fees. I live in Germany, and sending bags internationally is just too expensive. It doesn't really make sense to sell those bags internationally. And the second reason is that most of these bags are pre-production items. Sometimes I potentially would be allowed to sell them, but usually I'm not allowed to. But the main reason is actually international shipping is just too expensive, and it doesn't make sense for you to buy a bag from me. Probably would be more expensive than buying it new from the in the country that you're living in anyways. Oh no, hold on, there was another question. And where have you traveled to over the years? As mentioned in the question before, I have been living in the US, in Oklahoma to be exact, for 11 months, so for a whole high school year. Indonesia, obviously, because my parents are from Indonesia. I have been to Paris, to the UK, to Johannesburg for a job. Where else? To Bangkok. Where else? Have I been anywhere else? I haven't been to that many places, unfortunately. Oh yeah, from my honeymoon to the Maldives. So in Germany it's Malediven, and English I think it's Maldives. Yeah, I've been there. Netherlands, Denmark. Yeah. But there are still a lot of places that I would love to visit. So next question. What's a good resource to learn how to edit well aside from the basics of cut and trim, etc.? I mean cinematography and proper sound design. Oh, the second camera actually switched off, so we stick to this camera. Yeah, I think nowadays it's actually much easier to find proper resources to learn editing and cinematography. There are lots of great channels on YouTube where you can learn a lot of stuff. When I started 20 years ago, yeah, I had to read books, obviously, and there were only like 2 websites that had some tips and tricks, but I think the most or the best way to practice and learn is to actually take footage or edit stuff. For instance, take a movie and make a trailer out of that movie. And I say that because once you limit yourself in terms of time that you edit the video, so maybe make a 60 seconds trailer. Once you limit yourself to a specific time frame, you really need to think hard about how you want to tell a story, which shots are going into that edit. If you're just editing whatever length and you don't give yourself some restrictions, you usually go a little bit overboard with the length and you don't really think hard enough about how to tell that story. At least that's the way I learned with making commercials, because usually commercials are around 10, 20, 30, 60 seconds long. And with those restrictions, you really need to think hard which shots go into the video, what kind of story you want to tell. And that helps a lot to practice editing. Obviously, do not publish those videos. If you make a trailer out of a movie, you will probably do copyright infringement. So that's only for yourself, but it's a very good way to practice. And yeah, as mentioned on YouTube, there's so many good tutorials about how to shoot, how to edit, to do sound designs. And I'm amazed about all of the stuff that you can't find on YouTube. Furthermore, I am actually thinking about doing these one-on-one tutorial coaching sessions on my Patreon in the future, because when I started becoming a film editor, when I was still employed and still learning, there was just so much that I could learn from books and videos and tutorials. There are always a couple of questions where it would help to ask a professional. And because I was already in the film industry, there were a couple of people that I was able to ask questions and advice to, and that helped me so much. So I'm actually currently thinking about adding another tier group into my Patreon where I would give like these one-on-one 1 hour sessions where you could potentially ask me any questions about freelancing, editing, cinematography, or YouTube in general. And that's something I'm currently working on, and I will probably, or will definitely include in my Patreon pretty soon. So yeah, because just from my experience, I know that, yeah, you watch these tutorials, but you still have a couple of questions, right? And who do you really ask? You can ask in the comment section, but sometimes they don't answer, or you need some more clarifications. That is why, with me being a film editor for 20 years, I feel like there are some people who could benefit from my experience and benefit from asking me those questions. So yeah, take a look. Or yeah, if you're subscribed to the channel, I will definitely let you know once these benefits will be available on my Patreon. So the next question. I need some real advice. I'm starting a job that requires a suit, and I'm looking for a bag that will look good with a suit and also use the same bag as my EDC for weekends hiking. I've looked at the Peak Design Everyday version 2 in black, Black Amber Forge, and much more, and it will be great to know what is your opinion on that. It's like the hybrid bag that not excite. Well, that's a difficult question actually, because I don't own a suit. I never wear a suit when I'm working. So I'm not really sure how, or I will answer that question, but because I don't own a suit, I feel like all of the bags that I will recommend might not really fit a suit that well. And plus you also say that it's supposed to be suitable for a suit, but also be used for weekend hiking. In my video top 5 bags of 2020 and 2021, my favorite bag was the Black Amber Forge, and I feel like that is the bag to go with in black. The Peak Design Everyday bag is great as well, but I don't feel like it's that suited for regular work scenarios because it's so photocentric. And I feel like it doesn't really fit a suit. The Black Amber Forge doesn't fit a suit either. However, if you transform it to a briefcase mode, then the story might be a little bit different. I feel like if you have a suit together with sneakers, that is a style which I personally really like, then I can see the Black Amber Forge in briefcase mode fitting very well to a suit with sneakers, for instance. So that's a bag that I can recommend. Plus, it has this really cool work section, and it is expandable, so you can use it as a carry-on bag. And if it's in backpack mode, it's also really comfortable to carry when on day hikes. The only downside of that bag, it is much heavier empty compared to other backpacks. So if you're saying hiking, potentially that bag might be a little bit too heavy when you're hiking. But I never hike, so I'm not really sure if it's still a very comfortable bag to carry, but still the weight is something to keep in mind. And I would say take a look at my review and the website to check if that weight might be too heavy for you. But yeah, I think that would be probably the bag that I would recommend right from the top of my head. Any else? Maybe the Heimplanet bag. What's it called? The last one. It's also a carry-on bag, but it also has, it has a cool look, and I could see that working on a suit as well. All right, next question. Your thoughts on why so many bag-centric brands that do a poor job at showcasing pockets, features, and intended use. Good question. Yeah, sometimes I feel in Kickstarter videos, they usually show really well what all of the pockets and slots are intended for. But I do know what you mean. Sometimes you look at a website and you don't find what each pocket is actually for. And once you get the bag, you sometimes are a little bit confused. However, I feel like that's the beauty of packing or of what's in my bag videos. We all have so many different packing styles that I feel like it would be very difficult for a brand to actually showcase what a pocket might be for without like alienating someone with how they use all of those pockets. But it would be much easier to determine in the beginning or it would help a customer to see, oh, that slot looks pretty good, but what would actually fit inside? That would be neat to see, or would make a buying decision much more easier if you could see those slots. Okay, that slot is great for a Magic Mouse or a hard drive, or maybe even like bigger items like this very thick MX Master mouse. It would make making a buying decision a little bit more easier. But I do agree with you that sometimes once you receive a bag and you are questioning, hey, what's this slot actually intended for, then it would help if brands would be a little bit more descriptive about the use case of specific slots. Yeah, would help. I definitely know what you mean. So yeah, that was the last question that I wanted to see in advance that you all sent via Instagram and YouTube. So let's switch to the chat. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. I haven't really taken a look at the chat while I was looking at the other questions. So hi to everyone who has joined this live stream. So let's take a look at some of the questions that we have here. So first of all, hey to everyone. And so let's take a look at that comment from Romel. Thank you so much. On your recommendation, I purchased the Black Amber Forge. Absolutely on point. I love this bag. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoy it as well, because it's such an awesome bag, but I acknowledge that some people find it a little bit too heavy or a little bit too cumbersome with all of the stuff that is going on, but still I feel like it's such a cool bag. It looks so good. Maybe you can comment what you think about the look of the Black Amber if you combine it with any work attire. How do you like it so far? Do you use it for work? Do you have to dress up for work with a suit? Let me know in the chat. Hey, from Jack, hey man, could you answer my question? Did I answer your question? Let me just check. I feel like I did. Did you send me the question on Instagram or on YouTube? No, I believe I didn't answer your question. Maybe you can comment what's your question in the chat real quick. From David, would love to see a collab with you and any of those that you mentioned. Yeah, that would be incredible. But I don't think that MKBHD, I don't know how many subscribers he has, or Casey Neistat or Potato Jet. I don't see myself anytime soon collaborating with any of those. I feel like also me being in Germany, if I would live in the US, I think a collaboration would be much easier. So I can see like Pack Hacker or Chase Reeves or any other backpack reviewers doing a collaboration with any of those YouTubers before me. Maybe if any of those creators would come to Germany, it would be easier to make a collaboration with any of them. But it would be incredible. Best cheapest gear from Donald. Best cheapest gear. I always thought the Victorinox knives, multi-tools are good value. Very good point. And where is it? That's definitely something that I forgot because I didn't think of it as gear, but more of EDC. So this is my Swiss Army knife Super Tinker that I customized. Without the customization, this is only like 25 euros. And this is one of the best multi-tools that you can carry around, in my humble opinion. Leathermans are great as well. I own a Leatherman, but it's very heavy, and also it has a locking knife and a one-handed opening knife, which is not allowed in Germany. So this is it's very small and lightweight, plus it has a two opening blade and it's not locking. So as far as I know, you can carry this around in Germany. And what I did to make this a little bit more unique for me is I customized this with some titanium scales from Daily Customs here in Hamburg. This does add to the cost, obviously, but you will have something pretty neat. And these scales, these custom scales, are available at Etsy or probably if you're in the US, you probably can get those at Amazon as well. And there's so many different scales to make this tool your own and customize it. And yeah, with 25 euros, you can't go wrong buying a Super Tinker. So yeah, Donald, very good point. These are, I didn't think of it as gear, but this is one of the best EDC items that I can highly recommend. So the next question, have you ever used Mission Workshop Draft Tote Bag? I have not, but I have used a lot of Mission Workshop bags, and Mission Workshop makes incredible items. All of those bags are really, really cool, and I really like what they're doing. And yeah, I definitely would love to test that tote bag in the future. Have you ever tried a recycled firefighter bag? That's such a good question because that is so high on my list. Maybe you know, the bag that started this channel was the GoRuck GR0 or now GR1 20 liters. And recycled firefighter is, to me at least, feels like the direct competitor to GoRuck, and I would love to check out their bags. They are made in the US, which also means expensive shipping fees, custom fees, which makes it really difficult to get my hands on that bag, but it is high on my list. Hey, I love your Red Wing boots. Do you condition them? And what product do you use? I have made a video about my Red Wing Iron Ranger. Incredible boots. I have them for, I think, over 4 years. And I have just purchased these, the mock toe. And as you can tell, I have not oiled them yet because I'm wearing them in first here in my office. So with most of these boots, you have to wear them in first so they mold a little bit to your feet, and I have flat feet, so I need to wear them in first before I can properly use them. And what I use is I bought the Red Wing leather oil. and I use that from time to time. But to be quite honest, with my Iron Rangers, I didn't oil them that much, and I really love this used patina look. And at first when I bought them, these are very expensive, obviously. But if you consider, my Iron Rangers are 370 euros. But I wore them for over 4 years and they look incredible with all of the patina. And my second favorite, or also my favorite sneakers, are the Nike Air Force One, and those don't hold up that long. And after 2 seasons of use, they usually don't look that great. Their look deteriorates while the look of Red Wings gets better every year. So I feel like the investment of buying the Iron Ranger or the Red Wing boots is totally worth it. That being said, the first time I bought them and I didn't know how long these will hold up, I was really scared. I was like, oh man, these boots are really expensive. I need to take care of them. I need to oil them all the time. So I definitely know where you are coming from, and you do want to make everything right and you want to take care of your boots. So I would recommend just get the Red Wing leather oil and oil them. Yeah, in the beginning, probably you need to oil them a little bit more, just because you're wearing them in, and the boot will get these creaks because you like bend them here and stuff like that. But I would say after a couple of months of use, then I stopped really oiling them that often, and probably only oiled them like every 6 months or so. You probably are supposed to oil them more often, but I really like the patina look. So take a look at my video of the Iron Rangers, and there you can see how the patina, how they aged over time. Next question. Thoughts on Black Ember Forge using Black Kudura for their new release? I haven't seen the bag in person yet, but I have seen the Black Ember Shadow. And the Black Ember Shadow also uses this Black Kudura. It is good material. It does look great. However, I feel like that Black Kudura is being used with so many brands, for instance Air, and yeah, it's very common fabric. Black Ember uses a slightly different type, at least it feels different, and you can still see the Black Ember DNA in it, but I prefer the regular Black Ember Forge with all of the Hyperlon and stuff like that. It is heavier, definitely. That's, as mentioned before, it is a huge downside that the forge is very heavy empty, but it does look awesome. And it's much easier to clean or to keep clean compared to the Kudura. The Kudura still is easy to keep clean, but comparatively, I prefer the Hyperlon and stuff like that. It is a very good alternative, and I assume it will be a little bit lighter. So yeah, it's a trade-off. But in terms of looks, I prefer the original, and I would love to have the multicam version of the Black Ember Forge, or a white version. That would be awesome. What do you choose between Air Travel Pack 2 and the Pack Travel Backpack? That's actually... For me, it's an easy question. I would go with the Air Travel Pack because I do like the look and I prefer the functionality. If you have seen my Pack Travel Backpack video, it wasn't a proper review because during that time I was in lockdown. It was the first lockdown, so I wasn't able, or I am still not able, to travel and to properly test the Pack Travel Bag. But in my first impressions, I felt like there were... for instance, the laptop compartment, it has like two zippers, and it's in the middle, and I didn't feel that it was really very functional. And overall, the bag felt like, oh, let's take the packed travel duffel bag and let's make a backpack out of it and not really think about a couple of those important changes that you have to make the features more usable in a backpack. At least that's my first impression on the bag. The Pact is more suitable for business travelers. And if you are business traveling, I would probably lean a little bit more towards recommending the Pact bag, also with that great TSA friendly pocket where you can put all of the stuff inside. It has this red tag so that you can see exactly, your stuff is inside that pocket. That's a great feature. I love it. But if it would be for me, if I had to decide between the two bags, I would go with the air travel bag. What are your thoughts about Fitlock trend in general? Do you believe it's the future? Let me drink Pro tip: if you want to drink out of a water bottle, don't look at the monitor and trying to evaluate the distance from the bottle to your mouth. Or you will hit yourself. I'm clumsy like that sometimes. So, Fitlocks. Good question. I love Fitlocks. I specifically like the Fitlocks that modern Dayfarer uses, or Black Amber, or the Primer bag. And I specifically say the Primer from Boundary Supply, because with that it has a very tactile feeling and it feels very secure. But there are so many different Fitlocks, and now we get to which Fitlocks I don't like and why I potentially would not prefer Fitlocks. Boundary Supply, Primer System, that Fitlock, incredible. Boundary Supply Errant, on the other hand, that has these Fitlocks that you need to kind of push to open, and they had that Fitlock on the laptop compartment. The difficult part about that thing, it's a little bit fiddly to open that laptop slot with that Fitlock buckle. And if you are not careful enough, due to the magnetic properties, if you're not fast enough, or if you only use one hand, that buckle closes itself again because it's magnetic, right? And it gets in your way a little bit. So I found that a little bit to be annoying. I like a couple of those Fitlocks on the outside that have this tactical feel and have this band. Those are incredible, but those other Fitlocks, especially if they're inside, they get in your way. I think on the outside, on flaps, it is great because you don't have accidentally, if you have accidentally left your top flap open, then you can be sure, or not sure, but there is the potential that the Fitlock will close itself. So imagine, I see so many people sometimes walking around with the open backpack. If you have a Fitlock on the top flap of the opening, that magnetic part will close the lid, even if you accidentally forgot to close it and put the bag on your back. But if those Fitlocks are inside, they can be a little bit cumbersome. It's a 50-50 thing if I like them or not. But they do look cool, and it's a very fidgety item to play with sometimes. What are your thoughts on the rise of waist/fanny packs/sling bags? And what is your favorite sling? I do like them. I have always used sling bags or fanny packs. I mean, fanny packs are basically, sling bags are basically fanny packs that you wear like this, right? And I love to use sling bags whenever I'm outside with the dogs, because you can have all of this stuff like dog treats and doggy bags. empty doggy bags, of course, inside that sling bag. And I really love using sling bags. And now with COVID, where you have to carry around masks, disinfectants and stuff like that, I assume that's the reason why sling bags, there is such a rise in sling bags and why they have become so popular. And I really like sling bags. Oh, now the sun is shining. Let me adjust the camera. That's bright. Let me see, is that better? No. Turn down the... Oh. So that's... Sorry about that bright light. Wow, the sun is really strong right now. So yeah, I guess because of COVID, sling bags have become so popular, and I really like them, and I can highly recommend using a sling bag. One of my favorites is the Air Oshman collaborative bag, a sling bag, that is now available as the City Sling, I believe that's the name. And I actually will do a sling bag roundup, but I'm still waiting for a couple of other sling bags so I can put them in that roundup video. That's something I'm working on at the moment. So where have I been? Oh, there. Hey, can you help me set up a bag factory for our company with relevant consultant? I mailed you but didn't get answer. Oh, I didn't know that you mailed me. Did you send it to YouTube at ismono.com? Maybe it was in my spam. However, I can't really help you with setting up a bag factory because I have no idea how to set up a factory at all. Obviously, I made that documentary about how to make bags. That was all with Tas Indo in Indonesia. Maybe you can contact them because they would be much more knowledgeable than I am. So yeah, I would love to help, but I honestly don't have any clue about how to set up a factory. So yeah, last question before we end this live stream. What's your mechanical keyboard setup? So let me unplug that keyboard, maybe that helps. So I'm using this Poker 3 mechanical keyboard. That's the Vortex 3. You can find a video on my channel. I love this keyboard. All of these colorful keycaps are actually intended for editing. That's the most common color keyboard setup that has been in the editing world for many years. So I customized that keyboard to that setup. And this keyboard has Cherry MX Brown switches with silencers. Or some ASMR. And yeah, that keyboard is incredible. I wish it had Bluetooth and a backlight setup. There is one from Poker 3, a Vortex RGB, but yeah, this still works so great. I don't see a need to upgrade this keyboard anytime soon. But yeah, check out my video about that keyboard on my channel. And okay, because Jeet Modi commented so many comments. Thank you so much for joining. So let me just answer your question real quick. Is nomadic backpack good? I can't answer that question, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, because I have not tested nomadic bags myself yet. I would love to test their bags in the future, but I have not had the opportunity to test that bag or any of the bags. This is definitely something I would love to check out in the future. So sorry if I can't properly answer that question. So, oh wow, the sun is really blowing through the window at the moment. So yeah, that was this quick live stream, not quick, it was an hour. This live stream with all of your questions. I hope I answered your questions. And yeah, thank you so much for watching all my videos. I will prepare another video this week, which will be about the Tombin Shadow. Shadow Guide. It's also only a quick look and first impression. Yeah, we are still in lockdown and going outside is only possible for the important stuff. So I'm not testing bags that well at the moment. So yeah, a quick look of the Tombin Shadow Guide will be on this channel next week. And for those of you who are Patreons on my channel, we will have a Discord meetup the next weekend. I will post it on the Patreon. And yeah, if you are not subscribed yet, I assume if you're watching this live stream you are subscribed. If not, feel free to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss those new videos. And if you want to support this channel, there's also Patreon. But yeah, you don't need to support me via Patreon. That you are on this live stream and watching my channels is incredible. Stay safe and healthy, and yeah, see you in the next videos or potentially in the Discord meetup next week. Thank you very much. So let's stop the stream.